Meet Sheru. By his own highly inflated internal assessment, he is the undisputed apex authority of this entire jungle ecosystem. His daily protocol is strictly enforced. It involves a mandatory morning stretch, a thorough perimeter patrol, and the consistent projection of unearned dominance over everyone he encounters. The local ecosystem relies on three other key variables: a macaque entirely consumed by recording short-form video content, a deer convinced of its own intellectual superiority, and a rooster operating without a biological mute button. This delicate balance breaks when an anomaly occurs. Sheru's personally secured, highly classified food cache vanishes without a trace. In a highly stratified environment, the theft of the leader's personal supply represents a direct, calculated challenge to the established hierarchy. To solve the crime, we have to treat the jungle as a strictly closed system. Assuming no outside interference, the perpetrator is logically one of the three established local variables. We can map this out using a suspect matrix. This grid plots our three subjects, the monkey, the deer, and the rooster, against three specific behavioral tests to see who fits the profile. To remain a suspect, an animal must possess the motive to steal the food, the schedule opportunity to do it unnoticed, and the physical capability to execute the heist. By stripping away the absurdity of the animal kingdom and treating this as a rigid mathematical deduction puzzle, we can isolate the true culprit objectively. We begin by testing the first variable, the monkey. His stated alibi places him at the scene of a dance reel production during the exact window of the incident. Content creation is a notoriously time-intensive process. Factor in the constant posing and camera setups, and the monkey lacked the schedule window to commit the theft. Our second variable is the deer, a subject defined by an extreme obsession with physical vanity and a restrictive diet. Applying the motive test yields a clear result. A strict herbivore has zero incentive to consume Sheru's heavy, oily stash. That leaves the final variable. The rooster spends his waking hours trapped in a cycle of constant, irrational screaming. The biological toll is total physical exhaustion. He lacks the basic capability to wake up early enough for a midnight heist. Every external variable has been definitively eliminated. When the objective data clears the entire board, it suggests the fundamental parameters of the investigator's logic puzzle are flawed. Subjective interrogation failed. To bridge the data gap, Sheru relies on an omniscient, imaginary CCTV system to review the timeline objectively. The playback reveals a bizarre sequence. In the dead of night, Sheru is seen walking stiffly through the clearing, locked in a deep, trance-like state. Moving purely on instinct, the unconscious Dawn locates his own stash and devours the exact evidence he is currently hunting for. The mystery resolves itself with a single fact. The lead investigator and the prime perpetrator are the exact same variable. This undeniable data point shatters the carefully curated illusion of Sheru's flawless, calculated dominance over the local ecosystem. As the realization hits Sheru, his composure breaks. He stands over the empty cache, looking between his own paws and the circle of watching animals, his guilt written plainly on his face. Sheru attempts a desperate pivot. He tries to reframe the sleepwalking as a deliberate, tactical test of the animal's loyalty, a claim that only confirms he was the one at the cache last night. But the suspects immediately weaponize his own interrogative logic against him. The monkey identifies the midnight craving, and the deer mocks the failure of his tactical diet. The consequence of this failed investigation is the irreversible transfer of psychological power from the apex predator to the prey. To survive an unpredictable, sleepwalking authority figure, the animals establish a rigid, systemic framework, the Jungle Security Protocol. Step 1 exploits Sheru's vertical limits. Moving resources into high safe zones protects assets from nocturnal interference. Step 2 introduces biological deterrence. High-value meals are actively disguised as vegetarian food, creating a mathematical deterrent. Step 3 mandates spatial awareness. Radar tracking pinpoints Sheru's location continuously. The ecosystem dynamic has inverted. The former Dawn is now forced to sneak around the perimeter, reduced to the role of a common, humiliated thief. When rigorous academic logic meets a compromised ego, it permanently rewrites the security protocols of the entire world.